Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Abhay from EDS Technologies, and I thank you all for taking your time out and joining this webinar on accelerating product readiness with APQP on the 3D Experience platform. I would like to begin this webinar by giving a brief introduction about our company, EDS Technologies. We are one of the largest technology solutions providers in India with more than 30 years of business transformation experience. We help transform businesses by enabling adoption of virtual twin, geospatial analytics, and 3D printing. EDS Technologies has introduced many technologies like 3D printing, VR, digital manufacturing, etc. for the first time to Indian customers and has established itself as a trusted partner for more than 2,000 organizations across various industries, which includes automotive, aerospace, defense, industrial equipment, mining, and more. We have dedicated regional teams reinforced by domain and functional consultants. We are backed by strategic alliances with global leaders who are pioneers in their respective technology areas. We have a widespread presence with 11 offices across India with our headquarters in Bangalore. We are an end-to-end technology solutions provider to our customers. Our speaker for the session is Mr. Surendran R. Mr. Surendran has more than 10 years of experience in multiple domains such as product development, technical support, functional consultant, solution consultant, and technical documentation. He specializes in business process consulting, multicad, and product lifecycle management solutions. He has various global certifications from Dassault Systems. He has graduated in mechanical engineering from VTU in the year 2014. Currently, he is working as Assistant Manager, Business Process Consulting at EDS Technologies. Over to you, Surendran.
So, gentlemen, very good afternoon to everyone. Thank you so much for taking your time for joining this webinar. So, as Abhay said, today's focus will be more on how exactly the 3D Experience platform will help users across different disciplines and industries for streamlining the APQP processes, considering quality management is as one of the key aspects with respect to the product delivery. So this will be our agenda for the next 45 minutes. Okay, so we shall start with some of the key business initiatives and drivers that drives companies basically. Okay, following by which we will also see end-to-end solution offerings from Dassault Systems, and we shall have a short demonstration with respect to each of the offerings that we have from the Dassault System portfolio with respect to APQP. And of course, finally, we shall see some of the potential benefits of digitizing the APQP process with 3D Experience platform and some customer success stories. In fact, as Abhay said, we'll also be taking up the question and answers at the end using the question box. See, basically, if you see here, what I would like to start here is that in this slide, as far as the business initiatives that drives APQP framework option is basically on the adhering to highest quality standards as far as the national and the international bodies are concerned. Okay, at the same time, it's really important that customer specific requirements are well met in order to make sure that whatever that is delivered is in line with the expectations of the customer. Okay, so what this basically requires is that it requires or demands a strong governance. You need to have a full traceable system that you have in-house, and of course you need to maintain a consistent quality. Okay, so when you basically when you maintain consistent quality, so what happens is that you will be having expansion in your business, basically having both in terms of product lines as well as customers as well. Okay, so here one key thing is that every customer in the industry is basically looking is at leveraging digital technologies in order to improve customer engagement and support. Of course, as you see here, most of you might be having an idea to expand not only locally, it might be in terms of global as well. Okay, so it is not only with respect to product, of course it is with respect to the market, with respect to the quality, with respect to the customer. There are several things that needs to be considered or considered as a key business initiative that will predominantly drive your business forward. Okay, so when you talk about key KPIs, okay, so one of the key things that we would be seeing here is the overall equipment effectiveness. Okay, so if you see here, most of you operate around 70% OE range. Okay, but really gaining an additional percentage, it will be a tremendous achievement as far as your performance of your company is concerned, and also in with respect to your customer as well. Okay, and most importantly, if you see here, cost of quality. So here, absolutely, it is one of the key things that you mainly save costs in order to maintain quality. Okay, and also to execute an excellent business case, uh, to make sure that you have an absolute clarity on the finances that you basically have in your process. Okay, and most importantly, if you see here, it's also important that with respect to the supply chain, you also deliberate on how we can increase first time quality deliveries. Okay, so avoiding reworks is also one of the key things that you can consider in your process. Okay, and also there are scenarios where incomplete deliveries or quality issues or post quality issues, a lot of things coming in here. So how do you basically gain increase of percentage in terms of the supply chain, that is in terms of your deliveries and maintaining quality? Okay, and you also know that after service or service lead time. Okay, so there's a lot of time that has been spent in what you call repair time or post delivery issues. Okay, so how you can basically improve this particular aspect. And of course it is really important, see, as far as the aerospace is concerned, see, about 30% of the defense aircrafts. Okay, so they basically look into these services issues. Okay, and they are not shared with the OEM repeatedly year after year. So what you can basically do is that you can have a what do you call a knowledge and know repository to ensure that all details are well captured, and it can be made sure that it is not repeated in the future as well. So, in continuation to this, let us see what exactly the solutions offerings that we have from Deso Systems, considering the business initiatives that drives APQP and also the key KPIs and drivers. Okay, so the whole idea of this webinar will be predominantly to have a transition from reactive to preventive quality, which means how easily and effectively you can identify issues early in your development process. Okay, so if you see here, the traditional focus is predominantly more on how exactly you basically react to the issues that you encounter during your product development process or post manufacturing. Okay, so which results in low built-in quality. Okay, there will be high variation in terms of your execution. Okay, from what you planned and what was basically executed. Okay, so in order to basically overcome this, okay, so from reactive to preventive quality. Preventive quality is nothing but, let's say, for example, how you can improve your focus on quality activities well in advance during your product development process. Okay, that is basically front loading of your product and process maturity before handover to the production. Okay, so all the risk mitigation can be done well in advance to ensure that you don't try to get into a lot of issues or firefighting during the execution phase. Okay, you can have a standardized and consistent operational processes, and of course you can maintain customer satisfaction throughout the entire value chain to its highest. Ideally, if you see here, driving distribution of quality management activities and quality data availability towards quality planning, that is basically across the upstream and downstream processes, right from how exactly you receive your order till how it is being dispatched to your customer. So as you all know that APQP is one of the frameworks that is used to basically reduce the complexity by making use of the product quality planning, allowing the customers and OEMs, that is OEMs and suppliers, to collaborate in their products and processes early in their requirements, early from the requirement stage itself. Okay. So as you see here, the APQP has 5 stages of execution. One is basically, the first one is planning. Next one is product design and development. So this is basically how effectively you can map your R&D or the design and development with respect to the customer needs and expectations, and do all the risk mitigation at the stage of design itself. Okay, you can also evaluate your process design and the development activities in terms of how effectively your manufacturing processes are tailored, and you can also still again go ahead and do your risk management at their stages as well. So this is basically a verification and validation model wherein you try to understand what exactly you're doing at each stage of execution with gate reviews to ensure that you don't get into issues when you actually try to execute this information in the field. So if you could see here, what exactly Dassault Systems basically brings for APQP. That is basically the virtual twin experiences for total quality management. So here there are two things that you can see. The left side indicates the virtual world and the right side talks about the real world. Okay. So virtual world is nothing but how effectively you can plan your quality management activities. That is basically through your APQP and PPAP governance. That is how you effectively can do your preliminary risk assessment. Okay. How your FMEAs, control plans, manufacturing engineer, change management, all evidences that you can basically manage. So all these are model based driven as far as this platform is concerned. So what basically happens is that at any time of execution, you can trace back to understand each of these evidences to understand that if there is any issue, you can easily rectify this before you could actually get into the real world. So the moment we say model based and as it transition into the data driven, so whatever the insights that you have as a preventive control in the virtual world, you can absolutely make it efficient in the real world as well during its execution process, which is in turn used for your inspection planning, your non-conformances avoidance, your field issues can be reduced, deviations can be brought down. Okay, your corrective and prevention actions can be brought down. Okay, so it's to basically make sure that how virtual and real world will basically combinedly talk together to ensure that whatever the products or processes that you follow in your company are at high standards. So ideally, if you see here, what is that basically Dassault Systems platform, 3D Experience platform basically gives you as an end-to-end quality. So the value is basically, if you see here, the first thing that you embed here is the preventive quality measures. As I said earlier, from reactive to preventive, it is one of the key things that this platform will enable you to do right from your early stages of product development. Okay. And here you can basically have the feedback from the real world to the virtual world. And of course, you can effectively collaborate with your value network, not only within the company, it is basically in across the entire supply chain from your OEM to suppliers as well. In line with this, we shall have a short demonstration based on the end-to-end story that we have for the APQP process on the 3D Experience platform. If you could see here, this is one of the frames that we have in terms of the entire process execution, be it for any industries who follow the APQP framework. Okay, so right from how exactly you receive your requirements from customer till how exactly your R&D is done, manufacturing engineering, your production execution, your quality teams, and of course finally the customer support and services, all teams collaborate in order to perform several things. That is basically in terms of your requirements management, that is basically in terms of your concept definition, your R&D, your product design and engineering. It also involves your FMEAs, wherein you can do a preliminary risk assessment during the design stage itself. And also you can have careful considerations on the process level as well. Okay. It slowly transition into your manufacturing BOM definitions, your process engineering, your service BOM definitions as well. So as far as this particular APQP centric solution is concerned, through the Dassault System 3D Experience platform, there are 5 things that we would be seeing. First one is to start with an APQP governance or quality planning. So this is to ensure that how effectively we are intact on the timelines to meet the customer deadlines. Next one is basically the core tools will indicate what are the key activities or tools that are available in order to avoid the risk earlier stage. Okay. Then let us see how exactly execution happens on the floor. Fourth one is basically quality assurance, that is basically assessment, corrective actions, and problem solving. And last one is basically the field issue management. The first one to start with, this is the APQP governance or the quality planning, whatever we have here. So if you see here in this particular segment, we'll be seeing APQP based project management, which will be supporting the quality planning activities. So here's a video that will depict the information that is required for the subject. Okay, so here if you see here, this is a dashboard and you see this is a list of projects that will be depicted, and you can have this classification as per your needs. That is basically in terms of your product lines or in terms of customers. Okay, and you can also manage programs as well. This is basically when you are executing different product lines in your company. So when you are working with different customers, it is really important that you need to basically manage different project templates. So it might be build to specification, or it might be build to print, or it might be just a new R&D project, whatever it is. So what you can do is that you can basically manage the work breakdown structure in the form of standard project templates. Okay. So this will enable you to basically create all these activities that are part of the APQP execution. As you can see here, these are the activities that we have here for a complete 5-phase APQP process. Okay. The moment we create this, you can drill down into these activities and see towards the right side of this estimated duration for each of these activities, along with the planned and start and end dates. You will get an interactive Gantt chart ensuring that how each of these activities along with their dependencies are well managed. Okay. And at the same time, you can also have well effective planning activities as well. So the moment when you have a template available, so you can start creating a new project. Okay, this is basically managing the knowledge know-how. So the repository already has here. So you see here, you can basically manage the build to print to build or build to specification project according to your needs. Okay, so this will automatically put across the necessary tasks that are required in order to execute the required project as well. Okay, so here what you can do is that you can put across the name, you can select the execution calendar that is required, and of course if you have different business units, you can also plan that information as well in terms of which business unit this project has been executed, and the programs in terms of power lines or whatever it is, whatever you're doing, all this can be created. So you will get an interactive Gantt chart. You will get an interactive dashboard here. As you can see, it will indicate all information like status, your business status, of course, the phase gate views, and all the different phases of execution here as well. Okay, it will also give you information about the critical tasks along with their planned, finished, and end dates as well. You can manage project members by classifying them as project leaders, project team members, reviewers, or whatever it is. We have sophisticated capabilities for these kind of activities as well. At the same time, when you want to basically understand to whom you want to assign these respective tasks, it's an interactive interface wherein you try to just click on that particular person, so that you see here project task assignment is going to be very well easy actually. So you need not to basically send across emails, you can come across all these things. So you can just put across all these tasks here so that they will automatically get a notification, so that it's easy for them to basically execute the tasks here. So you can also change the maturity states of these tasks in a mass manner, so that you need not to individually open each of these tasks for execution as well. Okay, and you can see an interactive Gantt chart which will highlight the critical path. Okay, so that you are very well informed about how exactly your project is planned and how the execution is. So this is a notification bar. When you see here, the moment this Kanban view is viewed, you can see all the tasks related to that particular project to a particular person. Now, let's say, for example, if you would like to create a task and attach a document. Okay, so we have an integrated document management system. You put across all this information and you can save the data from your Microsoft applications itself. Okay, and you can basically go ahead and attach those information to this particular task as and required. As you see here, we just need to enter the name. We have the intelligence to basically view this information on the web interface, and the same can be attached and the task say completed. So as you can see here, the moment you try to complete this, the project manager will get a notification stating that so and so task is completed, and all this data related to that particular task is available on the platform here. It remains same for the other activities as well, wherein whenever there is a completion in each of these tasks, what you can basically do is that you put across the necessary deliverables that is required, ideally to support all the evidences that is required in order to execute. So this is a scenario of a product design. Let's say, for example, if you have completed the product design, you can save all information to the respective folders that is required. And if you want to attach it as a deliverable, just need to search here and you can attach it to the respective project. So that what happens is that whatever the evidences that is given by the users or the project team members, now project manager will have a visibility of all these information in terms of execution here. So if you see here in terms of the next thing, here you also have several things in terms of issue management, risk management. Okay, all these things are related to your project. Okay, so anything is there, you can see instantly with respect to its changes aligned to it, so that all change management activities that are carried out throughout this particular project execution are well captured, so that it is not only pertaining to your planning process, it also ensures that if there is any deviations in your project deadlines or timelines or changes in your customer, you can also perform experiments to ensure that what are the deadlines that will be shifted from the planned dates and what will be the effect on the project in terms of its execution. And while if you see here, this also gives you a view of what are the data that is required to be managed on the platform as well. So I hope if you might have got a fair idea about how exactly the quality planning can be done, how exactly the projects can be well mapped in terms of different customers, different product lines, how the different phases, gates, milestones are managed, how issues and risks can be mitigated during the project process. Any change management that is happening can also be well mapped. And of course, you can also perform experiments when there are changes in the project timelines, ensuring that you're not delaying your project to the end customers. Going next, if you see here after the planning process, quality planning process, now we will be deep diving into the core tools. So as you all know that one of the core tools that is being used in the design and development stage is the DFMEA. So when you basically want to perform DFMEA, companies usually what they do is that they use Excel sheets in order to perform all these things. But whereas with 3D Experience platform, what you can do is that you can make use of your product structures and link all your requirements by building a tight loop between the requirements, functions, and all the logical definitions to ensure that there is a tight connect between the requirements, customer requirements, your design, of course, the mechanical functions or electrical functions, software functions, whatever it is there, to all your physical products. So if you see here, there is a coverage ratio that is being given in terms of percentage, and you can also understand to which requirement what is being mapped to the physical product. So we have an integrated interface for DFMEA as well, wherein you try to make use of the same 3D model that is being used. So as I said, it is more of model-based engineering. So whatever the DFMEA that you did in your Excel sheet currently, what you can do is that you have an integrated interface on the platform itself, okay, where you have access to all information in terms of the requirement, your failure modes, failure effects, severities, and its causes as well, okay. At the same time, it also gives you a section for risk mitigation, okay, risk optimization as well, wherein you can map and add casualty relationship as it is required. As you see here, performing DFMEA on this platform is not going to be a major task. As you see here, all informations are well mapped and retrieved from the database as and when it is required. Okay. If you want to create a failure mode, it is instant and handy, wherein you can create it on a fly, so that all information that you want to put across into this particular DFMEA interface is going to be much easier here. It's going to be just drag and drop aspect, so that all manual entries that you do through your Excel sheets can well be what do you call eliminated. Okay, this will basically also enable you to calculate your risk priority number in a much better way. Okay, so all these information are well mapped in the database. As you see here, everything comes hand in hand. Whatever the requirements that you have here, whatever the DFMEs that you create, okay, well, all these things are drag and drop into this particular interface rather than entering all this information, so that any changes in the requirements will have a requirement traceability analyst role on the platform to check the coverage ratio and also the change impact analysis as well. So once this is done, what you can basically do is that as we have enough capabilities to basically map these informations to the changes as well. So any kind of change management that is happening during the design process after performing the FMEA, even those information can also be well and truly acted here. So that what happens is that from requirement to changes, whatever is there, all informations can be mapped well and truly. And of course, finally, you can also check the risk priority number. You can check whether it is in line, whether it is going out of range, to ensure that all aspects and risk mitigation are done during the design process itself. While we complete the design FMEA, so what we basically have to do is that the next stage is basically the PFMEA, control plan, and the inspection plan, which basically comes into the process design and development stage. Ideally, if you see here, process FMEA is an additional continuation to what we have in the DFMEA. Okay, so here if you see here, we basically create something called as PBR structure, that is product, process, and resources. Okay, so here you can basically create your embedded definitions, your process plans instantly, so that all are intact with respect to your engineering items. Okay, so what basically happens is that you can basically plan the set of activities that has to follow through this process flow diagram. Okay, so you can automatically generate this through a report generator that is available on the platform using the manufacturing process engineer role. Okay, so now if you see here, based on this, how exactly process FMEA can be done. See, the key for your process FMEA will be your process plans and embedded definitions from your engineering definition, while the interface for FMEAs for both DFMEA and PFMEA remains same, just that you need to select templates such as AIGA, VDA. Okay, so that based on this, what you can do is that you can put across your process parameters, like say, for example, what kind of operation it is. Okay, what kind of operational requirement it is. Basically, again, if you see here, the requirements will be basically mapped to this. Okay, it is going to be similar to what we did in DFMEA, as you will put across all your failure modes. These failure modes again has a dedicated library. You can create and store those information as and when it is required. So that what basically happens is that it will be easy for you to execute. You can save a lot of time, avoid errors, and all will be connected end to end, right from your requirements till how exactly your process activities are carried out. While you do this particular thing, okay, once your FMEA is completed and you calculate your RPN here, okay, so what other benefits that we basically have here is that, as I said, if you want to have a control plan generated from this interface, yes, it is very well and truly possible. Okay, it's not that just we basically create a what do you call a PFMEA, while we can also create instructions, that is with respect to how to generate an inspection plan as well. We also have the capabilities in terms of what kind of inspection has to happen, what kind of tools are to be used. All these information can be well mapped here. Okay, so that all informations are again intact, right from your process FMEA, process flow diagrams, your control plans. As you see here, this is the control plan template output that we have basically generated from the information whatever you have given. Okay, so it also has all informations like reaction plan and all those stuff. All this information will be available as part of this particular thing. So ideally, if you see here, during the process design and development, we understood how we can do a process FMEA to the platform by connecting it to the DFMEA, and how to extract a process flow diagram, control plan, and inspection plan as well. While we move forward, what we see here is basically in terms of the actual execution, that is basically the manufacturing execution system that we have on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, and the manufacturing operations management as well. So if you see here, if you would like to manage the real-time data, okay. So when we talk about the core tools earlier, it was not only about DFMEA, PFMEA. So we have a lot of things in terms of statistical political process control, histograms, and all those stuff. So all this information can be taken from the real-time data during the execution. Elmia Aprizo gives solutions for basically the real-time execution systems, wherein you can understand what is the raw material information, what are the different plant stations through which the product is being manufactured, okay, where are the bottlenecks, and what kind of quality control or non-conformances that can be brought earlier in the system. Okay, and during the process, as I said, if you see here, if you want to generate SPC charts, histograms, and all the stuff, all these can be brought from the real-time data as well. So that what happens is that, again, tracing back to the earlier requirements, all information are well mapped, ensuring that whatever the information that we have for execution at the execution level is now is available to all the stakeholders as and when it is required. You see here the key performance indicators in terms of equipment availability, MTD, okay, in terms of summaries, real-time visibilities of all KPIs with pre-configured dashboards. Okay, if you want to understand the machine downtimes, availabilities, okay, all these things can be well and truly done using the MES and MOM solution. While we have completed the execution thing, what is the things that comes next is basically it is on the problem solving techniques, that is corrective actions, if whatever that has been identified on the execution phase. So this is basically the issues, the non-conformances, and the corrective and preventive actions. Okay, if you could see here in this particular thing, this is basically to talk about the uh, issues that we have here. So as you can see here, this interface basically talks about what kind of issues have been created and what are the related items that are being added to these issues here. Okay, so here the platform will enable you to basically view all this information, whether it is 3D data or whatever it is, and you have an interactive interface to identify what kind of issues it is, and it will also enable you to basically see what kind of issues that have been marked up using the review capabilities. While if there is any NC that is reported, we have intuitive interface wherein basically you can create a new non-conformances using the forms. These can be well and truly customized according to your requirements. Okay, so this phase execute talks about describing the problem and issue at what stage. Okay, let's say it's at the manufacturing and say it is the part never fits here. Okay, so here you can put across all this information and you can add the relative information. The supervisor, what he can do is that he'll get a notification, I can review all this information. Okay, and he can put across his inputs to this so that he can do an investigation analysis before this non-conformance is well understood, and basically you can put across all his corrective actions as well. So while you can see here, this is basically the business process management that we have here when there is a complex workflow that is available here. The various stages of your quality management in terms of problem analysis, your root cause analysis, okay, all these things can be well and truly done using the platform here. While you see here, this also gives you an information about what is completed, what is available, and what is the entire history of execution in terms of the starting stages to end. But whereas if you see here, when you have a lot of kappas or NCs that has been reported in your company, you can have interactive dashboards along with the impacted item elements. So you see on the platform here, this will give you a graphical information about what is the non-conformance, what is it pertaining to, and it will also give you the information in terms of breakdown by month, year, and also in terms of product wise as well. So what happens is that the dashboarding capabilities will give you will give you an understanding for easy decision making. Okay, so that you have all information with respect to the quality processes, your NCs, your kappas, whatever it is, all information will be available. And of course, in terms of report generations like your 80 reports or 5i reports, whatever it is, all information can be basically mapped and understood using this particular platform. While we move further, one thing during the quality management process which you would be talking about is on the control document management. Okay, so as you all know that during the APQP process, okay, what are the PPAP documents that you have here? Let's say, for example, you have a control plan. You need to effectively maintain its release management and also effectivity date. Over a period of time, if you want to basically change its status, or if you want to revise your control plan, okay, so you need to have a system of workflow that is to be used for approval and also to maintain the effectivity date and release, so that SMEs periodically reviews their documents for changes and validations, and it can be basically done. Again, there are different personas here, that is basically who authors the document. There will be an approver, and of course will be a final SME as far as your document management as well. So here in this control documentation process, what we basically have is that, as I said, let's say, for example, if you would like to revisit a control plan, okay, which is already released, okay, or you want to revise it, okay. So what you basically do is that from the system, we have a control document management widget, okay. As and when you deep dive into this, you can see it will show the status through a watermark stating that whether this is in work or whether it is released or not. Okay. At the same time, it will also give you an information on the effectivity date in terms of from when it is active and when this needs a change. Okay. So you can also manage this release maturity in terms of approval or release management using a route as well. So route is basically a workflow that you establish within your quality team or different cross-functional teams to enable that you try to add this attachment as as required for release management. And this can contain any number of tasks based on the investigations that you want to do with respect to the assigned persons. So that what basically happens is that all informations are well captured here. At any point of time, any of your PPAP documentation needs revisiting, you can instantly go ahead and use this workflow management to ensure that approvals are well captured and all documents are well and truly available as per the needs here. Okay, so as you see here, earlier it was in invoke stage. Now you see here it is basically using the frozen stage. So what this watermark will basically enable you to understand is that whatever the documents that has been released, it will have a visual depiction of in what state it is and whether this will enable the cross-functional teams or the quality teams to understand that whatever is being used is the correct document for the use that is required. While we come to the last segment, that is basically the field quality. Okay, so up to here we talked about how basically we start the preliminary activities, how execution is taken care, how the non-conformances or the quality activities have been done. While field quality is also one of the key things, how this platform can support technical assistance centers. Okay, so now let's say for example, you have an after sales service technician, okay, and you have a customer. Okay, so how exactly you can drive continuous improvement in terms of reducing the service issues. Okay, so here basically it can also this platform also empower users by leveraging hidden company experience. Okay, basically the service engineers can collaborate here and they can put across their feedback as well. Okay, they can reduce investigation time through smart assistance, and of course customer satisfaction being one of the key things in this complete story what we are discussing today. As we started with total quality, is of course it is directly proportional to the customer satisfaction as well. So when we talk about these field operations here, so here if you see here, let's take a scenario of how the technical support specialist basically reports the cases. Okay, now you will have a layer of registered cases available in this repository. Okay, so what it basically does is that, let's say for example, if you want to basically resolve any of this issue, okay, that has been reported from your customer. Okay, it's not important that you have to investigate on this information every time. Rather, what you can do is that, as I said, it's a knowledge and know-how repository that basically enables you to basically look into a similar issue that has been already reported by any other customer. So what basically happens is that the service engineer can instantly go out and identify the resolution that is required without investing much of a time. So as you can see on the screen, it will identify and list down the similar cases and the timelines of these cases, like say in which period it was identified and what was the root cause analysis for this aspects that is to be seen. And also it gives you information about the resolution. Okay, and if it's going to be the same issue that has been identified, software has AI capabilities in order to basically what you call identify and recommend a solution according to the needs as well. Well, if you see here in terms of collaboration, okay, so whatever the things that you are doing here can well be mapped across different stakeholders, and it can be shared as a timeline between the internal teams as well as your customers as well. So while we have seen all these information, one thing which I want to finally touch base upon is on the PPAP evidences on the checklist management. So if you go back to the first quality planning demonstration, what we basically saw is that this is basically the folder structure that we have seen. But if you see at the end of the day, for your PPAP submission, you need to have all information available. In your APQP process, if you see towards the right side, all evidences are attached here. Hence, we can say that this is a deliverables-based project management, and you can effectively manage your checklist for each of the PPAP items, ensuring that all items are well captured and approved before it is being handed over to your customer. Okay, well, if you see, the dashboard will give you a real-time interactive decision-making terms wherein all information will be available as per the needs. Coming to what we have in terms of potential benefits, okay, if you see here, one of the objectives, if you see here, if you look back at the key business initiatives, okay, so it is basically extending and unifying the development processes globally, okay. But if you see here, there are several customers like Unominda, Sabelt, Musashi Auto Parts, and Sandar, where they have dedicatedly implemented this solution for the APQP processes and PPAP processes, while all these core tools in terms of DFME, FMEAs, and all things have been made digital, okay. So what is that basically you can do is that you can basically eliminate paper-based processes. That is what Sabel says. Okay. Musashi claims that they cut half of their product development time by having their knowledge shared efficiently with their customers. Okay. And Sandar says that 15% improvement in efficiency and reduce their warranty claims. That is basically the post-warranty issues or the service issues that is being coming in by implementing the APQP framework through 3D Experience platform. When you look at some of the customer success stories that we have already implemented, you see here there are a wide range of customers globally as well as in India, serving across different industries who have implemented this platform at different levels, not only for APQP, it is in terms of design data management, product lifecycle management, change management, okay, and of course, uh, dashboards and reporting as well. While the solution is a vast and there is a larger scope for what do you call expansion, this platform is going to help each one of you when you actually implement, when you actually tailor this as per the process as well. Well, if you see on the screen, these are some of the success stories which I would like to proudly say that these customers have implemented 3D Experience platform uh, for implementing, for digitizing their processes as well.
So I would like to thank you, Surendran, for delivering a very informative webinar. I'm confident that it was helpful to our audience. I would like to also thank the audience for taking their time out and joining us for this session. If you have any further queries related to the subject matter or any other requirements, you can always connect with us. Our details are displayed on the screen right now. You can reach out to us at any time and we'll be happy to address your queries. So please do keep an eye out for our upcoming seminars and webinars. You can follow us on our social media for the same. Thank you once again for joining us today. See you at the next session.